Okay, here's another League of Legends game coming your way, this time with Volibear in the jungle. And I should mention this is recorded post-commentary due to the lag I was anticipating throughout the game. Anyway, you can see our lane matchups here. We have Ziggs mid against Fizz, Vayne partner with Sona bot against Janna and Twitch, and Volibear in the jungle against Alistar, and we have Darius top against Jax. So you may notice Vayne is running Cleanse and Darius is running Ignite. And we can also play a little game in this. Which on my team do you think is the diamond ranked player? Out of the 4 that you see on your left. The answer will be in the description. You'll have the entirety of the game to try to figure out which one it is. Anyway, here I'm doing the mouse over. Your passive is basically a surge of healing once you fall below a certain threshold. Q is Rolling Thunder. It's movement speed, steroids of sorts. Your next auto attack will flip the enemy behind you. Frenzy is an auto attack. Speed buff, while the active effect is an execute. You can only proc the execute after doing 3 autos. E is a roar that will fear minions and monsters, not champions, but it will slow them. And your ult is another auto attack modifier of sorts. It's basically the old Ionian spark effect where your autos will spread to the surrounding enemies in lightning bolts. Kind of like the static Shiv, I guess, but I always thought of it as more of an Ionian spark type of thing. And you can see the lag that I'm going to have throughout the video here. Once again, a reminder that there may not be games this week. We'll see. Anyway, I can go ahead and get this started, but I'm going to kind of mess up the smite execute because of the ping. Plus it doesn't help that the bot lane stuck around longer than normal. If I smited or executed too early, they'd get some of the EXP and I'd be set a little bit behind. As for how Volibear works, he's a solo clearer of sorts. You have to kind of rely on your auto attacks to get through. As a result, some people built him Feral Flare. I think I will go for the Ancient Golem here so that I can synergize with his passive, his W, and also just give me more vision control. As for this, I'm clearing the wolves because that's the best one for single target clears. The roar has too long of a cooldown in early ranks to really allow the wraiths.
So it shall be.
But we can go straight to the red buff, and I wasn't sure if Alistar would try to invade. I so rarely see those, I don't really know what to expect when up against one, so I was going to play it safe. Anyway, you can see that the red buff takes quite a while. Kind of interested to see how this is going to look in Season 5 when jungle items get a little revamped. Volibear could probably be a little flexible in going for the Juggernaut or the Devourer. We'll have to see what the final numbers are for those items. But anyway, you can see a trade take place right here where Darius really does a number on Jax, forces him to leap strike out. And I know as soon as Darius has his pull back up, Jax is dead. So I'm going to hover around this area for a little bit and wait for that cooldown to come back. It is a pretty long cooldown, sadly, but there's also the potential the jungler will show up, as you'll notice right there. As a result, he walks into a bad spot. So right here I forced him to use his 2 moves, and the cooldown on those are too unforgiving. So he flashes over the wall, but timing is right. Darius has his pull, and hello, Jax. So one of them has to die here, and it's Alistar who ends up giving up first blood. Sadly, Darius couldn't get the double boss off of that, but that's not really an issue because Darius is going to start feeding in a moment. So Ziggs managed to survive a Fizz all-in, and I don't remember if we actually get Jax here or not. I didn't have to burn my passive just yet, even though I'm out of potions, so... And once again, Jax... Yeah, Darius dies right here. Since Jax is running Teleport, I don't have to worry about the Ignite. The only one I have to worry about is Fizz, because he does have Ignite, and he also has the Grievous Wounds from his Seastone Trident. So, neither of those are desirable. And I really didn't want to mess with the wave, because Jax has Teleport while Darius doesn't. So if I push it into the enemy tower, Jax can just port in. But if I leave it like this, it should be slow pushing in Darius' favor. And normally that would be a good thing, but our Darius is pretty bad, as you'll see. And I can point out he's a pre-made with Vayne and Sona, so I actually, after this game, I took about a 20-minute break. I queued up for another game afterwards, and I got paired up with these three again, and I opted to dodge, so you might know what's in store for the rest of the game. Anyway, I have the first 2 kills of our team, the first blood and pretty much the third kill, if you want to just add in the enemies as well. And right here I just want to rack up a little bit extra gold, burn the mana that I have, try to make use of the double buffs I pulled off of Alistar's dead body, and just pick up a lot when I go back. I want the quill coat for the ward that allows me to play this. I need to get my pink ward for my usual trick. You can see that my passive was procced there. So I got the Surge of Healing. And another thing I can point out is, since I mentioned Darius is going to be feeding, that's going to put me in a bit of an awkward spot where I need both armor and MR, because Jax is mixed damage, of course. You can see Alistar pulls off a successful gank on Vayne. And right here, I did have enough for the Kindle Gem. So I'm able to get the Kindle Gem for the CDR on my moves. I get the Quill Coat for increased clear, better health, the ward, I have the pink ward. All in all, a pretty good start for me, but once again, those kills would have been better on my laner, Darius accepted, because this is just an anomaly. Normally when Darius has that much of a lead on Jax, he should actually just start smashing him pretty hard. But like I said, our Darius, not good. Anyway, I dropped the pink ward there so that we could try to keep an eye on the dragon. I want to light up this area so we can try to catch Alistar if he's going in on Ziggs, because Ziggs is the one who's going to be doing the actual carrying. And right there, we had a lag spike interrupt my element of surprise, and Fizz gets to hop away scot-free. So, right here we have quite a bit of their map lit up. It's going to be hard for Alistar to try to do something from the bot unless he actually lane ganks. But the blue buff is coming up, and I really don't need this. Ziggs can make a lot better use of it than I could. So ideally I want to give this to him so he can push harder, zone Fizz, harass him. And I will go ahead and spoil it for you guys that Ziggs will eventually start killing Fizz. And if you're familiar with how assassins work, once they get behind, they're kind of worthless. But the bad news is Jax, one of the 2 enemy hypercarries, is going to start getting fed, and even though the assassin's out of the picture, we then have to worry about the Grandmaster arms. Sadly, I'm not high enough level yet for the trinket to actually last a decent period, or at least long enough for me to replace it. So right here we actually have a blind spot in the jungle, but I have the 2 extreme sides still lit up to give Ziggs some protection. And I am, right there you can see Darius giving up the first kill, well, second kill, since he died during the previous gank, and it's just going to get worse and worse for him from there. And I don't actually remember the pick order, if he actually chose to go into that lane or what. Still, his Darius skills leave a lot to be desired. And there really isn't much I can do for this tower, because Alistar can just knock me away, walk away. I didn't see if he has his ult, but if he does, then a tower dive is on in the cards for them. Right here I get to drop my trinket to light up the bush so Jax can't escape as easily, but he gets help from Alistar, and as a result, Alistar will die in his place. So right here you get to see the Thunderclaw's ult, and with the red buff I picked up, despite Darius' protests, I was able to secure the kill there. Once again, we have another lag spike. And right here I figured, well, Jax probably went back, he was kinda low. If I can help Darius, we might be able to get some damage down on this, but since I didn't push the lane last time, Jax did not burn his teleport, and as a result, his teleport is up. So he gets to show up here, and I don't really want to try to fight him because I don't trust Darius. I'm Gonna still waste some time trying to salvage this lane, but after a little while I'm gonna give up on it and just focus the mid. Good news for us though is Vayne is actually keeping up in CS despite the fact that she's going to be dying quite a lot too. So the AD carries will kind of cancel out. And right there, I don't know if you noticed it, but the lifeline shield procced on Darius. His first item was a Hex Drinker. Yes, against Jax he went for a Hex Drinker first. I believe Jax's W and his ult passive are magic damage, but the thing is, he didn't go for a Brutalizer, he didn't go for like a Hydra, he didn't even go defensively for the physical attacks, which are where Jax really gets you, something like a Warden's Mail or a Chain Vest. And he's actually going to go all the way up to Maw of Malmortius before getting anything else to make things that much worse. Cloth armor I picked up as a component for the Frozen Fist eventually. First I have to go into the Glacial Shroud, of course, and I have to wait for the Mana Crystal. But with that out of the way, I can now start racing around, try to farm some more camps, get gold, etc., etc. So there was some sort of weird tower dive down here that went horribly wrong and allowed Fizz to pick up a couple kills. I'm racing down here to try to save Twitch, and Ziggs almost does kill him here with the Mega Inferno Bomb. But once again, due to the lag, the game is all sorts of messed up. Kinda hoping this is resolved by next week, because otherwise I may be uploading Infinite Crisis in place of this game. And I already mentioned there's no Citizens of Earth this month, so I'm already short for content. Not a lot to be thankful for this November. But you can see Ziggs is in the bottom lane, so someone has to defend this, and unfortunately that someone is me. So I get to kill the siege minion. I'm holding these outside of the turret range, and I'm not trying to clear these particularly quickly. Like, I could pop my ult if I actually want to just shred these down, because I'm hoping Ziggs could come up, grab these, and not really fall behind or anything. But I have to get all these minions because no help is coming. As for this, I think Jax is going to come down bot or come to mid, I mean. We'll have to see right here, Ziggs is pinging for assistance, we don't see Jax. Right there, Fizz jumps on me, he has his Grievous Wounds, and down I go. Passive is completely meaningless due to his Grievous Wounds. Luckily, Ziggs has enough power to actually keep them at bay so that they can't take the tower. I believe he actually, yeah, I can see his items right there. He has the Grail already, so he should have enough mana to just keep laying out his mines, hurling his bombs. And all in all, the mid lane should be safe. Drawback, of course, is if Alistar does something like that. Good news is his team was not in position to capitalize, and as a result, Darius lives a little longer. I don't know if he was maybe thinking Fizz is going to be roaming top or something, and that's why he went for it, because it'd give him some protection from Fizz, a little bit from Jax, and right here, they're going on the pink ward, and Jax is in an awkward spot. I made sure to give the kill to Ziggs, because he's the one I'm relying on this game. Luckily, Vayne was paying attention to get here in time. You can see the crescendo went down, Fizz goes down, down goes Sona, and Janna manages to kind of screw us over. So Twitch is on Vayne, there's the stun, I fling him aside to try to create some more distance, and Ziggs manages to secure the kill, and Darius manages to kill the cow as he's headbutted away. And since they killed my pink, I'm killing theirs. And I'm also going to help myself to their red buff. I'm guessing Ziggs responded to Alistar dying to the bleed after he headbutted Darius away, and I'm leaving the one minion there so that they have something to remember me by. I'm kinda like that.
Your turret has been destroyed.
So Jax is pushing the top, kills Vayne, Down goes Darius. I don't really know why they were still down there. I should have been looking at their health while recording this, but there really was no excuse for them to be there. Meanwhile, Sona is the only one in position to try to hold off Jax. I kind of want to stay here, but you can see the enemies are moving in. I guess they're a little upset about the red, but it's too late. Our blue's already in Ziggs' hands. So right here, I need to get to Jax as soon as possible. Grabbing the Merc Treads because I have to deal with his stun. Janna slows, Alistar stun. I think Fizz has 2 slows now that I think about it. And of course Twitch has the slow on his cask. So right here I'm going to be staying side by side with Ziggs. That poor Yordle is going to have to really strain his back this game.
You can't milk those. You can't milk those.
And you can see that he actually takes a decent piece out of Alistar. Meanwhile, I want to try to get the red buff real quick so that if they do engage, since they're both melee, I might be able to stick to them, I might be able to keep it there. You can see this red is about to expire. I don't actually know how long the dancing is going to be going on. You can argue the current red has a third duration left, but I still don't know how long we're going to be dancing around the mid there, so I want to get a fresh one just in case it lasts kind of long. But lo and behold, Ziggs manages to chase them off, and Darius gets his ass handed to him by Jax. You can see Jax has Blade of the Ruined King, so he can actually do a number on me if we try to fight. And down goes Darius, and you can see that I can't do anything against him anymore. He's just that fed. Luckily, I am a lot faster than he is due to the red buff and my... I forgot what the Q is called, but he eats a Mega Inferno Bomb. I get to kite him around a bit. Ziggs shows up to the rescue. And right here I just need to try to line him up for Ziggs to get the kill. And he leap strikes to Ziggs and dies right in front of him. Alistar shows up, but he had so little health if he'd tried anything he'd just die too. Twitch gets a kill on Sona, and you can actually see the numbers right here if you pause. All in all, their hyper carry is making ours look bad. And don't forget, we're still playing. Guess who the diamond player is? Details in the description. But right here I have some conservation stacks to burn. I can really use the gold to work on the Frozen Fist or a variety of other items because the only lane that's doing kind of bad are the mid and the jungle. Gonna need armor for both Jax and Twitch, and unfortunately due to Jax's mixed damage I'm gonna need some MR despite Fizz having a pretty crappy early game.
Battle is in my blood.
So right here is my Yordle companion, and Fizz is kind of hard to gank due to his Urchin Strike being able to create a lot of distance. He has Playful Trickster, so even if I do get close to him, he can still get away. Like right there you can see Playful Trickster. Hops right over my Roar. I don't have Ghost or anything else, but good news is Janna kind of telegraphed that. So I get to make some tracks and just fall back. You can see Fizz has his Lich Bane already, so as long as I don't get too close to him, that shouldn't be as much of an issue for me. We have another Lag Spike. And now we're dancing without me having a red buff. Alistar is kind enough to knock me to safety. And a lot of wards go down all at once. Meanwhile, Twitch kills Sona, Vayne kills Janna, and then Fizz shows up to kill Vayne. Meanwhile, Jax is still top lane. Darius alone can't deal... well, none of us alone can deal with him. I went for the Giant spell because I need the Randuin's Omen. It's going to give me the attack speed slow whenever Jax hits me, and more importantly, it's going to give the movement speed slow active, so that I can actually try to lock him down. Sadly, Leap Strike has such a low cooldown that it's still really hard to gank a Jax. To make things worse, he already has his tier 2 boots, and he chose Zerker Greaves instead of something defensive, so we have the means to punish him for that. And here I'm trying to tell Darius, farm, you moron. You're behind, you need to get your last hits, you need to get gold from somewhere. You're not going to be getting it from kills, so you gotta do something. And he opts to chase. And we have something brewing top lane, but I don't think anything actually comes of it. Darius and Ziggs are both there, we don't have eyes on the enemy, and Janna is pushing in mid. Since I don't want to give them a free tower, I head to the mid. There's not too much I can do about Jax due to his Blade of the Rune King and just a lack of armor on my part, so just damage control, that's all I'm trying to do. Janna does deal some magic damage, but not too much, and the other part is, well, she can't exactly take a lot of advantage of her E because that's going to add on to her attack damage, and I have armor to mitigate quite a bit of that. I already have the Glacial Shroud, I have the meager amount of armor you get off the Golem, and since Ziggs is not around this time, I'm going to take the blue. So I'm maxing the Frenzy second. I don't really know what the ideal skill order is for Volibear, so I'm kind of playing this by ear. But I get to go back, I get the Chain Vest, and that will actually help contain some of Jax's damage. As for this, I don't think we get to kill him just yet because he's still Jax. So he stuns me, he Leap Strikes away. And do I pop? Yes, I just popped Ghost. He still has his Blade of the Rune King active to create some distance, and if you look at his inventory, you'll see a Hextech Revolver and a Vamp Scepter. So he is going for the Hextech Gunblade. And he dies to bleed damage. Sadly, Ziggs didn't get anything off of that, but Fizz is in the wrong place at the wrong time. He does his Playful Trickster over the Golem wall, and right here we just have to try to chase him down if we want to try to punish him. But due to how mobile he is, I give up relatively early. Ziggs is too far behind us, and I still don't trust Darius. So you can see Darius ends up eating a lot of Twitch damage, and if I had not turned around, that could have been me. Or worse, had I followed him, he might have committed. So, right here I try to move around for a flanking position. I try to figure out, am I best off approaching from the side, or should I try to go from behind? Unfortunately, I don't know if they had that warded or just opportune movement by Janna. They see me coming, and as a result, no ambush performed. As for this, Vayne is on Wraith for some reason. I don't know if they have wards over there, but they realize, hey, the guys that are actually trying to do something are exposed. They're vulnerable. And as a result, I lose a good portion of my health, but we get to kill Jax. And Alistar gets crescendoed. Janna helps push me to safety, and I get to walk away with a sliver of health while my team continues with the cleanup. So, Twitch goes down, Fizz goes down. I'm too badly banged up to actually help with the siege. I don't have any damage at all. I don't have the Sheen because I was itemizing to go for Jax instead, and I do next to nothing to turrets. You'll see later on when I try to siege the top lane that Volibear's pushing leaves a little bit to be desired when you go really tanky. As for this, I don't actually have the health to clear this, so if you notice, they are taking me down. I notice this, I'm just trying to manage my health, hold them off the turret, and just make sure I can get as much of this as possible. And I end up taking a lot more lane CS than normal for me, but once my ult comes up, I can just go ahead and shred this. And just like that, I have quite a bit of gold. I can go ahead and finish the Randuins, and I don't know if I go straight into the Frozen Fist or if I want a Negatron Cloak right off the bat. Yep, I'm going for the Negatron. So this will help with Jax a little bit, it helps with Alistar, Fizz.
Battle is in my blood.
The person that actually does help against most is Jax, just because he's that freaking fed. And to make things worse, now that he has his Hex Tech Gunblade, it's that much harder for me to actually get him. He has a slow on his Cutlass, he has the slow from the Gunblade, and right here I'm going to lag out when Jax finally makes his appearance. So right here I'm pointing to the ping, you can see it skyrockets, Jax jumps in, he forces me to burn the Omen, but I managed to get his Blade of the Rune King active out of him, and he enjoys the lag apparently.
Strength and
As for Darius, I don't know if he was waiting on something. I don't have enough gold to get home guards, but now I can make a return appearance top, but it looks like Ziggs has that under control. Alistar goes down to Vayne.
so it shall be.
And I don't remember what we do from here. Apparently die. So Sona and Vayne go down. We don't really have enough forward wards for someone to commit very long over there, especially when there's only 2 of them and the entire enemy team is unaccounted for, but find the diamond player, people.
To war.
Anyway, right here I'm making a peek on their blue buff, see if I can try to take it. It really doesn't matter because Fizz is a non-issue, so is Alistar. They could give it to Jax, they could give it to Twitch, but not too likely, I think. And you can see Ziggs did a little bit of a number on Janna, and the enemy was making a move on him, but they gave up. So we need to give our blue buff to Ziggs since the little Yordle that could is going full swing for us. Meanwhile, you can see stuff going on down bot. One bad idea after another. Darius is on the way. And it looks like they're breaking off. We have so many disadvantages this game. Right there I got his Playful Trickster out in exchange for my Thunder But right here I just wait for him and you can see that I get to try to zone him a bit. Jax will show up and now I just need to try to keep the 2 of them out until we're able to engage them. And Jax goes down. As for Fizz, we get him eventually. Sona and I do a lot of chasing on him, but ultimately my goal is to work my way top. My team is in the bot, the mid has already been taken. You can see he tried a flash trick there. Right here I was kind of expecting him to dash to the left, but he just keeps going this way. And I have my Q, Sona's movement, to increase how fast I go. He hops the wall like I expected, but luckily Sona was smart enough to actually go the other way to keep vision of him so that he didn't actually try to slip back. Fizz goes down, and the minions are now in prime position to try to siege this turret. And you can see firsthand how little damage I do without a sheen or anything. So, with Alistar here, there's not really much I can do, so I need to meet up with Sona, go ahead and steal the blue buff. And Sona can actually make some pretty decent use out of it. It gives her cooldown, mana regen, allows her to spam to a certain degree, but her cooldowns still suck. And right here I wasn't sure if Ziggs would be able to recall before Jax got on top of him, but he did. So right here I'm going to actually try a Dragon Solo once again without any sort of damage, and you can just see how grueling this is. If not for the actual Ancient Golem passive, I don't think I'd really be able to do this because that's what's actually doing most of the damage here. Looking at Frenzy to see how much damage it does to try to calculate and execute, but just looking at the damage here, I realize that's not going to happen. And you can can see Jax is there, the entire enemy team is, and I don't know if they had it warded or what, but I secure the dragon, and I should have gone to the right, I think, instead of this way. Instead, they pile all of their slows on me, they do everything they can, but if you look at the mini-map, Darius is there, there's Vayne, and while I die to the Fizz here, there's Sona and Ziggs. So they chased me way too deep, and they basically made the exact same mistake that Vayne and Sona made a moment ago, but the difference is there were so many of them that the loss is that much more devastating. And to make it even worse for them, we actually got the dragon. So right here I actually have to make the call. I'm not doing enough damage. I have to get the Sheen right now. I have to do something so that I can't be ignored. And the game is almost over by my count, so we're going to be approaching the final battle in a moment.
So it shall be.
Last chance to guess who the diamond ranked player is, people. Right here I try to warn my team that sticking around any longer is a bad idea, not good for their health. Luckily they did manage to take Jax down, but we lose Vayne. All in all, I'd say that is a good trade because Ziggs is the one we have to protect. Right here I need the red buff for the additional CC to actually try to kite them and keep Ziggs safe. Pretty much screw Darius and Vayne. Sona, she can guard herself, and she's kind of like me, she needs to peel instead of supply DPS. Anyway, I don't know if Jax is going to pull some sort of teleport crap once he gets up, so I actually need to go over here and clear this immediately. If he actually got up and teleported in, he might have been able to kill me and take the tower. So I pop my ult. You can see that the cooldown isn't really that bad this late in the game. I'm getting some CDR from the Golem, I believe, still has 10%. Don't remember offhand, but I have the Glacial Shroud, and right there I get my rank 3 ult, and enough money to finish my Frozen Fist. Now it's time to actually wrap up the game. Sona goes down to Jax. I get a Ruby Crystal to get me ever closer to the Spirit Visage. Spirit Visage is a pretty nice item altogether because it synergizes with your passive. It's just, due to the nature of the game, I had to delay it this long. You can see that the enemy team fears Ziggs, as they should. Doesn't have a Lich Bane, but he at least has a Sheen to really make his autos hurt. We have one more lag spike, I think, and now we can actually try to wrap this up. So Darius goes in, he starts eating the punishment, loses about a third of his health. Vayne goes off on the side for some reason, and here comes the home guard team. I try to pull the Fizz ult away from my team, I eat some Twitch damage, and that's 2 ults down. So you can kind of guess what's about to happen. There's the Mega Inferno Bomb, and we have to take an inhibitor to expose the Nexus. So right here we just need to wait for them to make one mistake. There's about 1 minute from Fizz's ult before it comes back up to actually allow us to engage on them. You can see the super minions barreling down the mid. I can go ahead and pick this up just to get me a little closer level 17 and having more speed on my Q, but I don't think I actually level up. And now we just need to find the opening. And Darius pulls Twitch, and the friggin' rat blows up before I even get there.
So it shall be.
So as you can see, the movement speed on the Q would have been nice. There's Fizz. He goes in on Darius, and Darius is kind of out of position here. And I realize he's a lost cause, so I'm taking off. Nice knowing you, man. But Jax, on the other hand, is somewhere around here.
The thunder.
You can see him right there. I managed to slow him. He's going to do his little stun. I do the Randuin's for the slow, and I hold him down long enough for Ziggs to kill. And now it's our time to actually do something. With him out of the way, that's their most fed guy next to Twitch. You can actually see the numbers right there. This is our power play moment. And trading Darius for Jax is an awesome trade, especially when you consider how far behind Darius is. Now we just need the minions to get up here and we can start laying siege. Janna does her Zephyr, the Tornado, and Alistar knocks me away, but I don't really think it was worthwhile to use that cooldown on me. He needed to actually use that for someone like Vayne or Ziggs. As a result, there's actually a period of downtime here where Vayne can safely approach the turret. And down goes Alistar. And you can see Twitch goes down. Meanwhile, I'm just trying to siege the turrets, but Fizz dodges the crescendo, Jax is up. I don't make it in time to save Vayne. But as for Jax, well, the table has turned, hasn't it? Sadly, I didn't get to execute him, but I did manage to bite Fizz, and here's the end of the game. They don't have anything to stop us. So I cue up Volibear's dance for you guys, and the game is finally over. Anyway, thoughts and observations will go in the description. I'm the Hero of Light. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.